Hi everyone. Today we're going to do something a little different. Today we're going to have a book review. No, wait. Please, give me a chance. If you've been a fan of the content that we've had on this channel so far, I think you're really going to like what I show you right now. Because what I'm going to show you is actually a Kickstarter project which came in the mail today. And so yeah, this is going to be the unboxing of it. And also we're going to check out the book that it is. If you've already read the title, I'm sure you already know what it is. But I don't know, maybe some of you weren't aware of this Kickstarter. So therefore, this will be your introduction to this. I think it's going to be a really cool project. Like you see right here, I haven't even opened it. I don't know what it's going to be like. Let's see. Oh, open it the other way. Wow. Hit the microphone. Wow. Well, that's the back cover. This is amazing. Wow. Okay, so yeah, what I backed was the Untold History of Japanese Game Developers. And so yeah, I backed this at the $35 tier, which is the gold tier. And one of the things I gotta tell you about the gold tier, though, is that it was supposed to have a very exclusive front and back cover. The front cover was supposed to be done by Will Overton, and it was really unfortunate that we received an update while the project was going on after it was already backed. We got an unfortunate update that Will Overton was not going to be doing the work anymore because he had basically just shut down and quit doing all kinds of artwork. So it was a really big loss too, because he's done a lot of covers for Retro Gamer and just a whole bunch of other stuff. A lot of stuff at the time too. I can't remember what it was, but because I didn't really read gaming magazines when I was a kid. But either way, that was a really big loss. But thankfully, the back cover, which was by I don't have his name, but that one, it did actually make it through. Alright, let's take a peek inside. This looks pretty good. I like that there's a lot of content. There's also a lot of images, and you could tell that they really did their homework. I mean, I knew that he was going to go over there and do interviews with a lot of the developers, go to their studios, and so I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. One of the things I don't like, though, is that I expected it to be in full color. I didn't read on the Kickstarter whether, I can't remember if it was supposed to be in full color or not, but I am a little bit disappointed that it's all in black and white. And otherwise, though, this looks really great. How many pages is this? 525 pages. That is really good. Now, for those who don't know, the guy who made this Kickstarter project so that he can make this book, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but he is well known with Hardcore Gaming 101. I actually have another book that he was the managing editor on, and that is Sega Arcade Classics Volume 1. And yeah, you see Hardcore Gaming 101. And so, where is he? He is right there. So you see, he's done other work before, and it's all very high quality. You can see in here that this book is actually full color, and I think they do actually have a black and white version. But either way, since I have this book that's full color, I was expecting this one to be full color too. But I'll take what I could get, because as I could already tell right now, it's just packed with content. I think I might even weigh this and then tell you guys how much it is. Alright guys, I just spent some time with this book, getting familiar with its contents, and I even read a couple of the entries, and I gotta tell you, I am very impressed with what I got here. I mean, when I first backed this Kickstarter project, I thought that it was just going to be the same thing as this, since he was the managing editor of it. And, I mean, this is all content, very good content, but a lot of it is just pulled from Hardcore Gaming 101, and it's a lot of information, but that's it, it's just research. But then when we get to this book, it is almost the complete opposite, because I knew in the Kickstarter project he was trying to get funding so that he could go to Japan and actually interview these developers, and I didn't expect this to be nothing but primary sources. And that's what we get right here, and that's a great thing, because nobody else is doing this. I mean, there's a little bit of information you get here and there, but it is almost nothing but interviews. And some of the stuff here is just really fun. I'm gonna try not to spoil too much. I'm gonna let you guys find most of it because I know the backers. Some of them might be watching this, and I just don't want to spoil too much. But look at how detailed this is. Give me a minute. Let me show you something funny. He listed the blood type for some of the people here. That's how detailed he got with these guys. And I should also tell you about some other perks. For instance, John, when he was doing this Kickstarter project, while the project was going on, he was doing some incredibly good updates. Too much, as a matter of fact. Sometimes I wouldn't have time to read all of them. But for instance, one of the things he did was asking, hey, do you guys want to have an index in here? And the fans said, hey, yeah, that would be nice. So he included an index. In other words, it would have been extra work for him, and it was. But he just decided to go ahead and include it. Also, I like that there's a backer list, which he did say would be in the book, and I could already see my name there. That's really cool. And this is just incredible. If I had one criticism about this book, though, it's that I didn't like how kind of mixed in here he had little promos for another volume that'll be coming out. In other words, like stay tuned for next time. Because they're kind of like scattered in here, almost like a magazine, how you have advertisements for stuff. And so I kind of didn't like it. I didn't feel that it really fit this book very well. But at the same time, I liked it that they showed, what we could expect next. And at the same time, I kind of have mixed feelings because it's like, well, why didn't you include in this one? But then again, at 500 pages, I gotta say that this one is pretty exhaustive on its own. So maybe it was just a space concern. Who knows what it was. In fact, watch, here's one of them. Appearing in a later volume. So it gives you a little bit of insight right here as far as what you can expect to see next. And you know what? This is actually a really good page that I got to, because with this one they had right here, he has my guaranteed funding for the next volume. Absolutely. Tell me how much money to write on the check. You have my backing. Because here's something that we're going to figure out in the next one. And is there any truth to the phrase Yogi Kosogi? And what does that mean? The footnote, Western games are crap games. That's awesome, because I always knew what the name Kusoge was. Kusoge is a term which means basically shit game. So whenever there's a bad game released in Japan, it's known as a Kusoge game, and there's almost like a subculture behind it. Kind of like over here, how we have, the angry video game nerd, and he goes after, really bad games. It's become actually like, in style to actually look at the negative points of a game over here. And Kusoge is kind of like what Japan has over there. They've had it for much longer than we have, I believe. But I didn't know that they actually had a term for our bad games, Yoge Kusoge. That is brilliant. I'm going to use that in my series somehow. I'll figure out how. I'll have to brainstorm a little, but I'm going to make that a part of my web series. But you know what? That's another thing that I have to applaud this book for that I didn't expect. He doesn't just look at the developers. He also goes to the Japanese Game Preservation Society and interviews the people over there. And in this article that precedes it, that I actually read, it's about these gamers that called themselves scorelers. I had no clue that the term scorelers even existed, but now it's very apparent as far as what it is. It's very obvious. A scoreler is somebody who tries to get the highest score in an arcade machine, and then so the arcade managers would go ahead and make their rounds and see who has the highest scores and submit those higher scores to magazines who would then publish it. And then basically you could have, your gamer magazine, which shows, kind of like Nintendo Power, how they would have, the high scores or whatever of whoever's playing Tetris or something. And then so that was the way that you could keep track of high scores. And they made a really cool little connection that a place like Twin Galaxies, which of course keeps track of world record scores, those might not actually be world records because they're not taking into account these little records and scores that were set in Japan. So it's possible that the Twin Galaxy records are actually not correct because they haven't taken a look at these. Another thing that kind of caught me off guard about this book was that they have a lot of in-memory pieces, almost as much as they have scattered in the appearing in the next volume type thing. And those were kind of a downer, but I'm glad that they did include them. At the same time, though, here's one of them. At the same time, that kind of reinforces the feeling of, Godspeed. Please make the second volume as soon as you can. Because a lot of these game developers, they're dying. They're leading shockingly short lives. I mean, look at this guy. He was, what? He was like 39 when he died. I mean, I don't even know what he died of, but I mean, it's just terrible. And he's not the only one. There's one kid in here. I don't know if I'll come across his photo soon, but he died when he was 22. And look at this guy. He was what? He was 45, I think, when he died. They are living shockingly short lifespans. And even one of the ones that actually died very recently, while the book was being made, I believe, was Kenji Eno, who is a very prolific figure. Here you go. Kenji Eno died in 2013. So you know what? In fact, I don't think that this book was getting made at that time. But still, in 2013, he died. He's a very prolific figure in Japanese gaming. And, I mean, we will never be able to interview him because, he's dead. And, I mean, I can't believe that they're living such short lifespans. I mean, then Kenji Eno, he died at, 42. He died at the age of 42. But still, so, Volume 2 needs to be made soon. And, I mean, I can't wait for it. It's got to come out. This is just an incredible book. I mean, it would make a great gift for anyone, but like I said, Godspeed, make that second volume. Nobody else is doing this sort of thing. The only other place I could think of that does anything remotely similar... Ooh, there's Gunpei Yokoi. I would kill if they were able to get an interview with him. Of course, he's dead now. He died even before I ever knew his name. But for those who don't know him, this is the guy who made the Game Boy and the Wonder Swan. So, and also the Virtual Boy. But come on, let's stay positive. Anyways, come on, let's have a seance for him or something. But, God, there's so much talent that has been lost. And going back to my point, the only place I could think of that has done anything similar is Game Center CX, which over here we know it as Retro Game Master. And in the Japanese version, they actually do interview a lot of the Japanese game developers, and some of the stories are hilarious. Like, the guy who was responsible for the Goemon games, which we know over here as Mystical Ninja, that guy, I remember they interviewed him, and he had the story about how they were trying to make a game, and they were way behind schedule or something. So, in order to kind of, I don't know if it was to shame him or if it was, just as a way for him to repay the company for being late, they actually had him dress up as one of the characters, basically almost like cosplay, like in a big foam suit. And so they had him dress up like that, and he had to do that because he was way behind his schedule as far as this game coming out. This book is amazing. It completely surpassed my expectations, and that's very hard for a Kickstarter project to do these days. Usually Kickstarter projects now are, becoming a little bit lackluster. They're running out of funding, and then they ship with less rewards. And I'll admit that this one, it didn't come with the cover that we wanted, and it was also a few months late, but not by much. But even then, if you're watching this video right now and trying to decide if you're going to buy it, it's not going to affect you anyways. The book is already ready. You just have to order it. And just so you guys know, this is my own copy. This is not a review copy. I paid for this and I backed it myself. I did not get any compensation or any special perks from the author for giving this a good review. And I just want you guys to go out and enjoy this if you can get yourself a copy. And I don't ask anything from my subscribers. It's actually a pet peeve of mine when a YouTuber says, hey, can you guys please do this? Please donate here. Please go to this website. That sort of thing. That is actually a pet peeve of mine. But if I could break that just once and ask you guys to do one thing, if you are going to go ahead and get this book, please go to the author's own little website. I'm going to go ahead and plug that and put that in the comment box as well. Apparently they have nicer terms to them than Amazon does. So however you decide to get it, it's your choice. But if you have any passing interest in the history of Japanese game development, this is the book to get. I mean, it's absolutely exhaustive. I know however you get the book, you're absolutely going to be satisfied with it. So that's all that we have for today. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.